The future of business is small teams, high impact, high profit.
That's absolutely, yeah.
You've made multiple 8 figures all online, part-time.
I only work 5, maybe 10 hours a week on a busy week. I'm not burned out. I'm not tired. I'm only doing the things I like to do. I think we're in this hustle culture. Grow as big as you can, as fast as you can. And now you're a slave to the thing you've built.
How do you know you should start a business?
Time with your family, freedom, flexibility. Nowadays, when you see people online, there's just so much more input telling you all the other things you should be doing, all the new marketing strategies. It's depressing. Simple sells and simple scales. Businesses tend to start out simple and then they get complex. What is the 20% of the things I do that actually generate 80% of the results I need? You could literally stop doing 4/5 of what you're doing and get almost the same result than 2x what you're doing in half the time.
When did you feel like it was time to I need to hire my first help?
For me, it was...
Graham, thank you for being on The Department.
Yeah, man, this is fun to be on here, bro.
You've made multiple 8 figures all online, part-time.
Yes.
And you have this passion to show people how to build a business that serves them. And I think things can get wonky because I've seen it all. I've seen people get into business for the right reasons and then build it in a way that no longer serves them. They're now working in their business or working for their business. And then I have also seen people who just build it on passion and they never get past a certain, because it's just, they want to keep it tight and small.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel Priestley, business expert, says the future of business is small teams, high impact, high profit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something you've experienced. I mean, now we're talking how long at this
16
point?
years.
16 years. So I guess the first question is, how do you know you should start a business?
Oh man, I mean, if you want to make more money than you're making, probably. If you feel like someone like me who felt I didn't belong in front of a desk or a cubicle, or if you want more flexibility, if you feel like you're not using your creativity enough, I mean, there's business is so much more than I thought it was growing up. I never pursued a business because I thought that meant like owning a restaurant or some big tech corporation. I didn't know that you could get online and create content because that wasn't a thing when I was growing up. So I think business has got much bigger term. It's a bigger term than we think it is. So like if you like to be creative, if you like to do cool things and get paid for it and work with people you like to work with, you should probably at least pursue a part-time business. If nothing else, then
so you would say everyone should try a side hustle?
Everyone should try a business. Absolutely, yeah.
That's good. And I believe the same thing. I would say something, and I'm guilty because I'm one of the voices, that when you go online, it's as if go and start a business is a bigger message. Go build your own thing is a bigger message than get good, develop skills, be patient. Your time will come. So and that's what I want to unpack with you, because I think there's just so much there.
Yeah, that's interesting because, okay, so there's 2 things I hate about being in the industry I'm in. So full disclosure, my first business was in the music space. So I was just hanging around musicians, teaching musicians. When I got into the business growth space, teaching people how to start a business, that's when I felt like, this is an icky space, right? Because it's a lot of people saying it's super, super easy and they don't really explain the work involved or what's necessary. And that can be a little bit misleading. And then the other part that I don't love is just that I think we're in this hustle culture, which is, you just grow as big as you can, as fast as you can. And so then you're building a business, or you're attempting to build a business that takes you away from all the things you wanted to start a business for, which is time with your family, freedom, flexibility. And now you're a slave to the thing you've built, just so that you can be like the hustle bros or the marketing bros or whoever they are.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the industry that I don't love. So yeah, maybe, the conversation today can be more helpful or more.
100.
I think it's one of the reasons why I like your content. Is like you're actually giving people tools to do it, but you're a family man and you're a man of faith, and you balance a lot. Like you do ministry, you do business. I think you're showing people what's possible, and that's what I'm trying to do too.
Yeah. So when was that? When did you make your first million online? And how did you get there?
It took me a while, bro, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have your YouTube channel or anybody else's to follow, right? All I wanted to do, I lost 2 jobs during the Great Recession. So if anyone's ever been in a bad financial situation or a bad economy, it's a great time to start a business, right? That's where I was. I lost 2 jobs. on food stamps for 18 months. We had just moved to Tampa, Florida. I just had my first daughter, Chloe. We just bought a house. Like, I'm 26, I'm starting the life, and then I lost it. So that was when I started my first business, because I had to find a way to make money. So my whole point is, like, all I was trying to do was make $3,000 a month. Like, if I could, that was like the dream, because that was what I made full-time working in my previous job.
So that was the thought in your mind.
That was it.
That's $36K a year?
Yeah.
Dang, you bought a house. I mean, I guess it was a different time too.
It was a different, yeah, it was a different time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The thought in your mind was, if I could just, I think that's a thought that people are literally having right now. If I could just make this, would you say that's the right thought looking back now? Or would you?
No, I mean, because again, I didn't have any mentorship. So I don't think people can do anything beyond their vision, right? Like, if you can't picture yourself doing something, it won't happen. You need something external or someone external to give you that vision. So it's either a mentor or a coach. It's either you read it in a book and you see someone doing it, you go, wow, that's possible. Or if you're a person of faith, it's God gives you a vision. Like, hey, here's like literally a vision, or like a dream or desire. You know, like Psalm 37, delight yourself in the Lord, verse 4, he will give you the desires of your heart. Like, that word give means to assign. Like, sometimes God assigns desires.
Wow.
You need that to come in to go, oh, really? I should pursue that. I had no vision for it. So I was able to grow to 3,000 a month because that's all the vision I had. It took me then starting to get in new rooms and seeing other people that were I thought I was making up this business model, bro, of having content and courses and offers. I didn't know other people were doing it because I was just winging it.
Yeah.
But once I saw more people doing it and I saw what was possible, then my vision expanded. Well, maybe I could make 6 figures a year, you know? And then when that happened, maybe I could make $1 million a year. And that took me a while because I didn't know what I was doing, but you need a vision first. So the if I could just, I don't think is bad, but I think people are more powerful than they think they are. They just don't have a big enough vision.
Hey, we had to pause this podcast and let you know about the Department Live happening in Las Vegas. We're going to be recording the 100th episode of this podcast live here at our headquarters. And if you're seeing this, not that many people know, because there's only about 100 or so tickets for sale. And so I want you to come to Las Vegas, come meet me and art.mp4, and we're gonna be packing out this space of ours and shooting our 100th episode live. Gonna be doing Q&A, gonna be doing some like tacos or In-N-Out burgers outside, music, gonna have merch. And so want you to check out the link in the description, scan the QR code, and I can't wait to meet you, our department fam, here at the department headquarters. Hey, so grateful, can't believe 100 episodes. Let's get back to the combo. So good. And it's just funny because like even that phrase has a little bit of limited or lack in it. If I could just, why not? And that's why I think it was good to get it around Myron for me. Why not make couple hundred K in a day? And it's like, wait, what? You know? And that's, like you said, getting in rooms that make it uncomfortable. So were you putting out free content for a season? Like,
oh yeah,
with nothing?
Always have. So like, that's how I started. It's funny because there was something intuitive about that. Even in 2009 is when I started, I saw bloggers blowing up. And I remember asking myself, how are they making money? Because they're blogging for free, but then I could tell they're growing an audience. And so even as an outsider, I had this intuitive sense that I need to put out something for free regularly to teach, to show, to get respect, and then get people's interest. And then I could sell them something on the back end. I thought what I was going to start was a freelance business. So I was an audio engineer. So I would record music for bands. And so just like you do the video skill, I did the audio skill. And so that's the only business model I could think of. So I was blogging and I started a YouTube channel. My blog started in 2009 and my first YouTube video went up January 2010. And the thought was to get people interested in what I was doing, and then they would hire me to produce their albums, basically. Sure. And that started to work. But that was when I discovered how people were more interested in the content, because I was explaining audio engineering in a way that regular people could understand. And they're like, can you make more videos on this? Or like, when you talked about getting the kick drum to sound like this, could you do something? How do you do this? So I kept putting out videos in between freelance gigs because I was broke. I mean, I was unemployed, so I had nothing to do. and it was helping people.
So good.
And so there was just enough of an audience to know this is something. I don't know how to monetize this outside of getting clients, but there's something here worth pursuing.
Isn't it funny though how, number one, and I always like to extrapolate principles out of people's journeys. So like you leverage the thing you were already doing to make content about it.
Yeah.
So it's like you weren't doing something, you were like, I got some free time. And by the way, everyone has free time. If you have a kid, whatever, you have free time to build your dreams. Okay, I'm gonna use some free time to leverage that, and then because you're putting out content, you get access to the feedback.
Yes.
To make more and better content.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's a biblical principle from the standpoint of those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Like when we get what we put out, we get what we want, you know? And I think like it's like the Proverbs 1, it said, let the wise add to their learning. Why do wise people get to add to their learning? They're already wise. It's just the way it goes, you know? And so like by you adding value, you get the feedback, and then you're making videos based on that feedback. And because people are asking questions, I mean, questions are a great indicator of people having problems.
Yes.
Or, you know, obstacles.
Yeah.
So then what was like that first product you made?
Oh yeah, dude, my first thought was, because I tried everything. I tried, you know, banner ads on my website, AdSense. I don't know if I was monetizable on YouTube at the time. It was still really early and the rules were different back then. But my first thought was people really love the videos. Like I didn't realize I was a good teacher. I never wanted to be a teacher, but I was like, somehow I explain things that are complex in a way that is simple for people to understand. So my thought was very basic. If people like my YouTube videos, maybe they will buy more videos from me, right? So what if I just made a longer series of, I didn't know this was called an online course. This was 2010. I didn't know Amy Porterfield or any of these people, but it was like the software we use in the recording studio is called Pro Tools, you know, and it's like the Photoshop of the audio world or whatever. And it's super complicated for people, even though it made sense to me, but I would sit down with real friends in the recording studio and help them understand it. So like, what if I could do that on camera and just talk to them as if they're my friend for 3 or 4 hours, walk them through the software. And so I just filmed a bunch of videos on that platform, put them in a zip file, sold it with a PayPal link, and people just bought this folder of videos for, I think it was $47. I called it Pro Tools Boot Camp. And some dude I didn't know bought it from me, and I got money in my bank account, and he bought these digital files that I could keep selling. And that was like a light bulb moment for me. I told my wife, I was like, babe, I know it's only $47, but I think I just figured out something that could be repeatable. And if I got better at selling, and if I had more of these courses, and if I sold them at higher price points, and if my YouTube channel grew, like I had no guarantee of any of this, but I could see a path.
Sure.
And that's how I started, was like, okay, so courses was the way to go for me. So I started selling courses, and then eventually membership sites and all that stuff.
Hey, Department fam, question for you. Based on you listening to this podcast, you probably are either looking to grow your personal brand this year, build your audience online, and just stop chasing business and start to have business chasing you. If that's you, I want to invite you to the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a 5-day coaching experience, a live coaching experience with myself that's done all on Zoom, and you get access to a private community, and it really is unlike any other experience that I offer. By the end of the challenge, you'll have unreal clarity on what you're supposed to do online, and you'll have the insight on how you can make an extra 6 or even 7 figures. Yes, I said 7 figures in your business this year. And if any of those things sound great to you, I want you to join the next Content to Cash Challenge. Scan the QR code if you're watching on a television, or click the link in the description. Once you go through it, go ahead and upgrade to VIP, because you'll get an extra hour of bonus VIP Q&A with me every single day of the challenge. And so looking forward to seeing you there. Let's get back into the convo. So good. And at this point, when did you feel like it was time to like, I need to hire my first help?
For me, it was a customer service person, and it was like 2 years in. I did everything myself because it's pretty simple. But when the YouTube channel took off, because that channel, I think it's got like 650,000 subscribers on it. It's called The Recording Revolution. When that channel started to take off, even in the early days, like I couldn't keep up with the emails and the comments. And because at the time in that industry, it was like guarded secrets. Like producers weren't sharing how they got vocal sounds or whatever. And I never understood that. Like, so I benefited from being in the industry at a time when no one was teaching this stuff.
Yep.
Fast forward, like all those producers ran out of money because the music industry has changed. So they started to come to me like, hey, can we collaborate? Can I make a course with you? So it's funny how that changed, but there was so much like attention. So people were emailing me and thanking me, and it was all this email. That was when I realized I'm the bottleneck of my business.
Dang.
And I was scared to hire. To this day, I don't like hiring. I'm not a big delegator. I'm a big eliminator. So like Tim Ferriss will talk about, time management, and he'll just say, instead of managing it, just eliminate all the stuff you don't need to do. And so we could talk about 80-20 and all those things. But when I did need to hire somebody, because I needed someone to respond to some legitimate requests, like I need a download link, or I want a refund or whatever, that was my first hire. And I just hired a friend of mine from church. I was like, hey, dude, he was actually one of our worship pastors. Like, do you want to make some extra money? You can watch Netflix and handle some of this email in the evening. You can be flexible. I just need 5 to 10 hours of your time a week. Because I was in the inbox 3 hours a day.
Wow.
I was like, I can't be doing this. I need to be making content. So that was my first hire for sure.
That's really good because, praise God that I've acquired skills, and like I like to say, I've built a business around my brain.
Yeah.
But the reality is I'm the brains, I'm the heartbeat. There's a lot from my brain that does it all. Like at this moment, I don't have a sales team,
right?
But we've done over 2 million already this year.
It's amazing.
How does that even happen? I mean, the skills and the brand and like all this stuff, but I feel so involved in every little thing. And I think it just comes back to like the self-awareness, because some people, when you hit a fork in the road and it's like, I could do it all myself, or even take away from the very thing that is making this work.
Yeah.
Or I could double down and have the self-awareness to know that I am actually good at creating content, and I shouldn't remove myself from that part.
Yep.
Because like when people start building businesses and they think scale, I don't know. I mean, some people just think like, okay, maybe that was a season for me to just create content at a high level. And so I don't know,
Yeah. So the thing here for me is, this is interesting. Businesses tend to start out simple and then they get complex because we think complexity is the way to scale, but complexity fails. Simple always sells. Whatever you're doing, simple sells and simple scales, right? So keep it simple. But the key is to align what you're doing in your business around what gives you energy. So the way I think about it is effort fueled businesses fail and they fade, but energy fueled businesses flourish. Meaning, when you start a business, you're kind of doing all the things and you're pushing, it kind of makes sense. But there's a point where either you got to stop doing some of the things, or you have to just get really clear on what are the things that not only are good for the brand and good for the business, but to your point, the things I really get energy doing, I enjoy doing. Because effort won't sustain you. You'll burn out. You might be successful on the outside. Maybe you've hired a team to keep it going. But that's why so many YouTubers are burning out. So many like big businesses, you're like, where did she go? Where did he go? They had a quote unquote successful business, but it was built on a model that was just effort fueled. Like just keep white knuckling it, keep pushing. The money's good. Don't slow down. Whereas if you redesign your work day, your work week, your business model around what gives you energy and eliminate, automate, or delegate everything else, then you can keep playing this game for as long as humanly possible because you won't actually burn out. You won't get tired.
So
I mean, I only work 5, maybe 10 hours a week on a busy week. I'm not burned out. I'm not tired. I'm only doing the things I like to do. The business continues to grow. But it's because I'm willing to stop doing a lot of things that everyone says I should do, but do the things that give me energy and I enjoy doing. And to your point, if you like doing content, don't give that up. Keep doing it.
Yeah, no, that's so good. There's something in my mind that's wanting to break that based on what I'm seeing online. And that is, you don't deserve the right starting up for it to give you energy. It's like, no, it's sleepless nights. It's the 12th hour. You have 3 hours before you go to work and you have 3 hours before you go to bed. That's 6 hours a day. Like, yeah. I don't know. Like, can you speak to that kind of mentality where maybe somebody's thinking to themselves, well, this season that I'm in trying to build this side hustle feels hard and it feels like it's taking energy.
So when I started my business, so back when I'm broke, I'm on food stamps, I'm freaking out. I was on a call with one of my previous mentors. He was like a previous college professor. He's like the only I was desperate for advice. I didn't know what I was doing. And he was like sort of like a father figure type guy I could reach out to. And I was like, Dr. Evans, what do I do? I'm trying to build this business. I'm unemployed. We're here on a church plant. We moved to start this church. I'm the volunteer worship pastor at the time. And the context was like, I'm exhausted. I'm trying to build my business Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, I'm doing church. So like Saturdays, I would spend half a day going to the storage unit with the band, getting all the equipment, driving to the rehearsal space, setting up our equipment to rehearse for the worship set, tear it all down, take it back. That was all on Saturday, just so we could do that again on set up, tear down for church on Sunday at a college campus in Tampa. And so I had no days off really because I'm volunteering and working. And I'm talking to him and he said, bro, you got to start taking Fridays off for your Sabbath. And I was like, but I don't know how to build a business in 5 days a week. I definitely can't build it in 4, you know? And if you're a person of faith, like you get it. He's like, do you trust God that he can do more in 4 days than you can in 5? But even if you're not a person of faith, it was my first challenge on the idea of limitations of like Parkinson's law is really what's happening here, which is work expands to give it the time you allot for its completion.
Dude, I probably say Parkinson's law 3 times a week.
Because there's money to be made when you understand Parkinson's law, because if you give yourself 5 days a week to build your business, it'll take it. If you give yourself 7 days, it'll take it, because you'll never run out of things to do. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, when you see people online, there's just so much more input telling you all the other things you should be doing, all the new marketing strategies. It's depressing. It's like,
100.
You just want to go hide. And so to the person that's starting out and it's exhausting and hard, I get it. That the strategy is actually to flip it and actually just give yourself even less time to do what you're doing.
Wow.
Because it's already hard. So the reason why, giving yourself less time forces you to focus and forces you to ask yourself, what is the 20, here's the other principle, Pareto's principle. What is the 20% of the things I do that actually generate 80% of the results I need? Whether it's revenue, growth online, if you look at your content, what are the 20% of your YouTube videos or the titles or the thumbnails that generate 80% of your views?
Crazy.
What could we just recreate that type of stuff and stop doing you could literally stop doing 4/5 of what you're doing and get almost the same result, which then allows you to have more time to double down on what's working and then 2x what you're doing in half the time, if you follow that math. And so for me, being forced by someone older and wiser to say, well, figure it out in 4 days, bro. You got Monday through Thursday. I would never have done that. But that set me off on this weird path of like, what's possible with less? And so when I figured out how to build a business, now, granted, it took me a year to make $10,000. Like I made 10 grand in my first year. So I wasn't great at first, right? But once it was starting to grow in 4 days a week, the natural question then is, could we do this in 3 days a week? Or what about 2? So every January I would sit down and I would say, how can I grow my business this year and do more revenue than we did last year, but work fewer hours? Even if I only shave off 2 hours a week, like that was my game. And it just was leveraging Parkinson's law and Pareto's principle and literally questioning everything I was doing. And it made me like be a good manager, look at every task and everything and say, prove to me task that you're worth keeping in my calendar each week. Prove to me that you're bringing revenue in or leads. Like if it's hard to prove, like I'm going to assume you're not unless proven otherwise.
So good. Can you share about like, cause you said some things, you said revenue, you said leads, some people are just like, there's a company that literally came and picked up the car seats at night and brought them back clean, brand new.
Praise the Lord.
Before the sun came up. But I would imagine they're just going with the flow right now. Can you break down like the things that you look at? So like, can you break down what you think and what you believe is a business? You don't have a business unless you have this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so there's going to be some things that are true for all businesses and some things that are unique to your business, right? So for all businesses, you need lead gen. So what's bringing in leads? How are you getting in front of people, getting eyeballs? Is that ads, paid ads? Is that YouTube and organic traffic? Like my whole business has been organic, like 16 years of just being on YouTube, right? The stuff that you teach people is so valuable. Is it referral based? Do you do affiliate? Do you do partnerships with people? Do you just knock on doors? Like you need some way to get in front of people. So lead gen. And
a lead, just so, can you even break down just for that company that literally, because someone posted and shared that service was done, it brought awareness to my wife,
Yep.
who then saw that. And so my wife then becomes a lead for that business if she gives her information.
Yeah. So there's like, you're right. There's awareness like that we exist and the service exists. And then can I get your contact information to follow up with you? A phone number and email address. So on YouTube, if you're giving a lead magnet, some kind of guide or downloadable, or come to this free training in exchange for your contact information, that's powerful, right? Or even an ad that does the same thing. So you need a way to get in front of people and be able to follow up with them. And then you need, ideally, just a good offer. Like, and an offer is just literally that. It's the 3 magic words, would you like? You know, like if you're at a restaurant, no one's selling you hard when you get to a restaurant. They're usually like, Mr. Cochrane, would you like to see the cocktail menu? Would you like an appetizer? Would you like to see the dessert menu? Would you like? It's so simple, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't ask, they won't make extra money. They won't get as big of a tip. If they do ask, it's so innocuous. And I think, would I like? I would like. Or even if I would like, but I'm watching my calories, if I had a lot, I'm still not offended by it. It's just so gentle. And that's all an offer is an invitation to buy something.
So good. And then, ain't nobody mad when you say, I don't need the drink menu. Just give me water and lemon, bro.
Yeah, at least they asked. Yeah.
Okay, what makes a good offer? What have you found in 16 years of making millions online? What have you found makes a great offer online?
So to me, what you were saying about like when you're putting out content and you're figuring out what people have questions on, like a good offer solves a burning problem that somebody has or gets them the desire or the dream that they want. So the more specific the offer is to a real problem or a real desire, the better. So for example, in the music recording space where I cut my teeth, I would see pain points in that there are certain tools, like compression is a tool in audio that confuses so many people because I don't know who designed the language around what the knobs do, but it doesn't make sense. And so I created a course that I sold, basically an offer on how to better understand compression to get better sounding recordings. It was very specific and niche, but it was a pain point people had. That made a good offer, even though it was really basic. But even another one would be, we did like multiple weekend retreats in Nashville where you could come hang out in a recording studio. We'd bring in a band, and instead of learning it on the internet, you can come like put the microphones in front of the speakers and on the drums. And then we would hang out and you could ask questions in the room, be like, hey, why are you putting this microphone here? Why do you turn that knob? If they never had that internship experience in a big studio. And so that was a come to Nashville for $3,000 or $5,000 and we'll go out to eat and have fun. That's an offer too, like, because then it's an experience for them to realize their dream of being in a recording studio and learning.
So good.
So it could be almost anything. It could be a phone call, with you if it's valuable to them. But the question is knowing the person well enough that you know their pains and their desires and their dreams. And then here's the key, right? And this is use their language, use their words.
Right.
Most people that I'm coaching to build offers, the offer names and the language is so bad. And it's because they stop being a human for a second and they put on this like, okay, I've got to come up with a marketing lingo and the names make no sense.
Yep. It's all clever. It's very clever.
It's clever,
not clear.
But it's not clear. It's cute. It's not clear. The best offer names are real basic and real language. But yeah, that's all you need for the offer is for example, cleaning out the car seats. That would have been great for me back when my kids were growing up. The car seats are nasty. But it's like, would you like clean car seats? I saw a great offer on a billboard in Tampa the other day, and I don't know what the service is, but it says never do laundry again. And some pictures of I was like,
how many times have you and your wife thought,
bro, that's a great offer. I don't know what it is, but I'll pay whatever that is to never have to do laundry again.
Wow.
That's a good offer.
So good. To the right person too, because some people are like, what do you mean? I mean, I'm fine with it. Well, it wasn't for you.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's really good. Okay. You said you had people come maybe in the beginning to an in-person experience for like $3,000. Can we go through your pricing journey? You start at $47 and you had to learn probably the concept of value and that it's not always, it's not a synonymous thing as far as like, you're getting this because it's $1,000, so you're getting this. It's $3,000. Yeah. How did you go through the pricing journey to get to a place where you now charge much higher than you used to.
Yeah. So when I started, again, going back to the vision thing, I had no vision for high ticket offers or even the in-person retreats. I didn't do that right at first because that would have scared the mess out of me. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't know anything about planning events. So a $47 course, and then a $97 course, and then $147. And then I launched a $27 a month membership, which was great because we got like 1,600 people a month into that thing, and that started to print money.
1,600 people at $27?
Mm-hmm.
Just want to do some math.
Yeah, whatever that math is.
That's $43,000 a month. That's a good month.
Yeah, recurring, right?
Recurring.
And people would stay in that thing for years. And so I started to stack up these low ticket courses, memberships. I think I did a bundle for $397. We did a webinar that sold to a bundle of courses that was easily worth $2,000, but we sold it for $397 off an auto webinar. And that model worked really well for two reasons. One, this is a long time ago. It's not impossible now, but things were different back then. Courses were still new, and there was nowhere else to get a lot of this information. And then two, my channel was growing so big that I had, going back to the leads, I had so many leads. I mean, I had so many people that would see my stuff, opt into my email list, hear about a course, buy the course, that my basic funnel would sell $50,000 to $70,000 a month just to new people with just courses without me having to do any sales calls or anything. So that model worked great. And low ticket courses and offers work great when you have a ton of lead flow, a lot of new people coming in. It's interesting. COVID changed a lot of things with everybody figuring out what an online course is and everybody coming on the internet. Like so many people, especially people that are big now online, started post-COVID. And that blows my mind. I'm
crazy.
And then AI is changing so much with now information is like so accessible and so fast that the low ticket course game has gotten harder because people just don't value it as much. And then people don't, and this has always been true with courses, people don't watch all the videos. They don't take advantage of something they didn't spend a lot of money on. As we were talking about this before, like people, like Myron says this, everyone says this, but people who pay attention, and people who pay a lot of attention. And people who pay little attention. And so what I'm finding is while that model worked, a lot of my clients, I have some clients that have been in the game for a long time too, and they ran that play of low ticket courses forever, but their views are drying up, the algorithm's changing, and so we're trying to move them to more high ticket group coaching, one-on-one coaching, events, things like that, but where they get more experiential and more like high level, fewer people working with them, but they're paying a lot more, and those people are getting better results because they're really committed.
Yep.
So I think that I've moved in that direction, I did that in the music space, but then in my business coaching, I went from courses to like, we're going to do more masterminds to group coaching because it's attracting a higher quality people. So you don't work with as many people, but that's why they can enjoy the YouTube. I can reach a lot of people online, but then a few people that want to work with me.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my perspective is like the content. This podcast is, I mean, it's worth what you want it to be worth to you. But if I were to choose, every podcast I put out is worth 6 figures of information. If you apply the stuff, if you, people, I mean, I literally got a comment this morning. The podcast we released last week, this is my 4th time watching. Like, and which that's, I'd rather than that person paying me $27, like just keep watching. And then whenever you're ready, let's go. But what have you seen difference wise between a person who pays a little and one who pays a lot? Like just because you've seen the contrast between and over the course of time.
Yeah. Okay. So there's like 4 types of offers the way I think about it. There's something called the magic offer matrix. There's 4 types of offers. So if you had like a grid where on one side on it top to bottom, it's like low price to high price. And on the left to right, it's hard to convert or sell and easy to sell. There's kind of like a quadrant model. So there's low price, hard to convert offers.
Low price, hard to convert.
And I call these pointless offers. Like, why in the world would you create a low priced, hard to convert offer? Examples include $27 ebooks that nobody wants to buy because it's an ebook. Nobody wants to read an ebook. They can just get on ChatGPT or Claude. They could talk to somebody and get some answers, and it's free. So it's actually hard to sell a low priced ebook. And even if you did, you only make $27. So I consider that a pointless offer. Really hard to build a business around that. But what a lot of people do, and what I did for my first few million, was low priced, easy to convert offers. And I call these needy offers. And they're needy for two reasons. One, because you need a lot of them to make a lot of money. But you can sell a ton of courses, low ticket memberships. It's a legit business model. But you need to have a lot of people coming in your world to make money off of it. But then two, to your point, they attract needy customers. Because people who pay the least, in my experience, I've been doing this 16 years, 2 different niches, to hobbyists, to businesses. The people who pay the least complain the most, demand the most, and they rarely get great results. And whereas the people who pay me the most, I've never had a refund from them, never had a complaint. If they have like my phone number or Voxer access, like my highest level clients, like they apologize for reaching out to me. Hey, so sorry to bother you today. I just had a quick question. So I'm like, they're apologizing to me.
Yeah, I paid you, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, you're great. So like to that point, like I much prefer a high level client because they're not as needy. They're in either a different season of their life, or because they paid so much, they respect you. And this is a big part of it, is something Ramit Sethi said years ago, which is you have to teach people to revere your work. That's and good. You can do this in subtle ways. Like, it took me months to put this masterclass together. I researched this. I interviewed these people. You're subtly telling them, hey, I put a lot into this to bring this material to you. But one other way you teach people to revere your work is to charge a premium for it. Because then even if they don't know if you're good, they look at you and say, why is he charging so much? And that sends a subtle message that, okay, I respect this person. They must be a player. They must be doing something great. They must have value. They at least respect themselves. Right. And all this is happening on a quick subconscious level. Whereas the people that buy something low ticket, they don't respect you because you're just a commodity to them. It's crowded at the bottom, bro. It is crowded at the bottom price-wise. So you might as well go up the value chain.
So good. Like, observation is the people that pay a lot, they understand the power of one idea or one insight or one unlock. Like, I recently joined Russell Brunson's inner circle.
Yeah.
He has this thing called Decade in a Day where I got 15 minutes with him. I was done in 8 minutes. And I was like, cool, I got what I needed. And he was like, can I ask you a question then? And then we ended up filling up the rest of the time. But his one insight, I mean, the return's 10x now.
Yep.
So like it's people that know that they can do something with the information versus the people that acquire it just to keep up. And the Bible talks about how knowledge puffs up. So it actually becomes worthless even though you're acquiring so much information. But when you 100%. Implement, that's actually wisdom and understanding.
Bro, we are information rich, implementation poor, 100%. And so the great news is like if you can get really good at learning a little and using it a lot, you can print money. Dang. Like I'm not the smartest person in the room. I haven't had all the coaches in the world, but like anytime I'll read something in a book, like a $25 book, I'm like, I will run that play and I'll just run it forever and make money off of it. So it really is up to you. Are you all on implementation? Are you always searching for the latest secret, the latest thing? Yeah, great examples. Ramit's, speaking of him, I bought a course of his years ago, and I think it was a $2,000 course. And this was back when I had never invested that much money on a course. You don't even get a phone call. I was like, $2,000. So I think I used like the payment plan. He had like a 12 pay. It's like $200 a month for 12 months or something. I was so nervous. And so I bought it. I watched most of the videos. They were helpful, but there was one idea, to your point, in one video of the course that I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And I was about to do a launch of a new offer. I put that idea in place and I made an extra $15,000 I wouldn't have because of that one idea. And so I was like, oh, that was my first unlock I spent not even the full 2,000 because I was on the payment plan, but I spent 2,000, made 15K off of one idea. And I was like, game over. I have real estate. I have private equity. I have stocks. I have, nothing has returned as much as investing in coaching or education where if I implement something in my own business or life, I can get a return. We both have worked with Myron. I joined his VIP. So like May, I paid him $375,000 it's been, so I've only spent 2 hours with him one-on-one of the part that I get. 2 hours one-on-one with him.
What? How could you didn't get? Okay, keep going.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything for you. You don't get a whole lot. What do you get? You get a free car? No. But of the 8 hours of his time, I've only used 2 of them, and I ran one play from the thing he said in those 2 hours, and I've made off of the back of that as of this week, $870,000. Okay, so I've paid that back twice. And I remember asking my wife, and she's been with me long enough to know how this game works, but when I was like, hey, babe, I want to pay Myron $375,000, because we run every decision by each other, right?
Yeah, for sure. This is called the spouse objection.
It's classic.
Yeah, go ahead.
But she was like, yeah, okay, wow, that's a lot. Yeah. But she was like, okay. And the reason why is not because she trusts Myron. She didn't know who Myron was. I mean, I'd watched his videos for years, so she knew about him. It's because she trusts me.
Come on.
And the reason she trusts me is hopefully I'm a trustworthy husband and father and man, but she has seen a pattern of Graham implements everything he learns to the max, and it's paid off for a family. So that was like the big test. I was like, I think this is gonna be worth it. But if Shay says no, I won't do it. But if she says yes, I'm and then now I feel the pressure. I'm gonna implement, but it works.
So good. And yeah, because like people will say, I want to talk to my spouse, and a lot of times, sometimes it can be an excuse to just get out of a moment that you should lean into. The other is, are you going to ask them, hey, this time around, I'm going to do it? Because we're not marriage counselors. Myron's not a marriage counselor. Right. And if you are somebody who doesn't say what they say they're going to do, then of course you're going to be stuck until you are somebody who does what they say.
Yeah.
And can you just share the insight in the 2 hours you had with him? What was the play?
Well, yeah, I mean, so the play it was really a 2-part. The main one was he was looking at my one-on-one coaching rate. Is raise your prices, right? He was like, hey man, that's great that you can sell one-on-one coaching at that price. Why don't you make that now your group level price and no longer do one-on-one coaching at that price?
So which was that?
That was at the time $54,000 for one-on-one with me.
Okay.
He's like, make that your new group coaching level.
Crazy.
Okay. So one-on-one is now
that'll break your brain.
Oh yeah.
So with all the things in your brain, well, like how? Like people are paying me for one-on-one. Why would somebody pay me that for a group?
Yeah, and so he's always taught that like group coaching is actually more valuable than one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to figure that out. But I was running my challenge because I wanted to learn the challenge model from him too, because I've done free challenges and they didn't work, but the way he does paid challenges is way different because again, it's a different selling environment. People have paid to be there. But somebody said on one of my VIP calls in my last challenge, they said, man, I would never have known to ask some of the questions the people in this call are asking. I'm so glad this isn't one-on-one. I'm glad I'm in this group. And I was like, that's the power of group coaching. Because I was trying to teach them all you got to scale the group offer. Like, don't just do one-on-one. But that is the power of group coaching, is partially that everyone has the same questions. Everyone thinks they're a special snowflake, but most people don't have this. But you don't realize what you don't know until you're in a room with other people asking a question. You're like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should be doing that too.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And I see the biblical principle in just how the church devoted themselves to gatherings. It was, like don't forsake the gathering. And God's into the group because of that. There's more value in the group. I mean, you can't be freed from sin unless you tell somebody else.
Yes. It's powerful.
So something you said a bit ago though was, you were thinking about like offers and you're like, man, if I do the in-person thing, it's going to sound like a lot of work. I think this is for experts, people who are good at what they do, because we're so close to our expertise. When you did your first workshop, in-person event, or whatever that looked like, was it as hard as you thought it was?
No, because there's 2 parts to it, right? The event planning part, not my favorite. Like catering or room blocks at a hotel or finding. But if you get some help, like finding some of those, and they're not as hard as you think they are, but like the event planning is not where I'm the strongest. But getting in the room, I've always known this. Like getting in the room, like put me in the room and just let me serve people.
Yep.
That's easy for me, but it's also where people who through the screen might sense, I think I like this guy. I think I trust him. I think he's got some good information. I mean, obviously not everybody likes me, and they let me know about that in the comments. But the people that get a sense of that online, once they get in the room with me, they sense the energy, and really they sense the spirit of God, like that, like, wow, this guy is legit. And so for me, I think if I'm in the room with somebody, I'm better there. It's better than like writing sales copy or like marketing. Like that's not, I mean, I can learn that stuff. I've done that stuff, but just put me in a room. So to me, it was just doing the same thing I do on YouTube, just in the room. And I'm an introvert. So like it takes out all my energy to host an event or to speak to a crowd. I get energized by it in the moment, but then I will crash afterwards because like I'm better in small groups.
Yep.
But dude, it was not nearly as hard as I thought. And I also kept thinking, and this is the power of the formats, right? As I kept thinking, I have to teach them something new or something amazing to justify the price. But it's the same stuff we're doing online in so many areas, but it's just a different format, a different experience. I think about it like this. Have you ever heard the Mount Everest analogy? I don't know if I heard it. I don't know if I came up with it, but the way I think about, because a lot of times people ask me, what's the difference between if I buy, a course of yours, or if I come to your group coaching, or if we do one-on-one, like, is there secret hidden knowledge for the people that do your VIP day? And they're looking for this answer for themselves too with their own offers. And the way I think about it is Mount Everest, right? Let's imagine that you are a Sherpa and you get people up to the top of Mount Everest. That's what you do. That's your skill set, your expertise. Someone comes to you and they say, Omar, I want to get to the top of Mount Everest. And you're like, well, there's great. I can do that. I've been to the top of Mount Everest a lot of times and I can help you get up there. There's 3 ways I can help you get up there. 1, I can give you a map. And I'll tell you, like, go up this side of the mountain, go up this time of day, do camp here, do this, like all the information you need. Here you go. Take it and rock and roll with it. You don't need me because you got everything in the map. Mm-hmm. Some people would love that. And then some people be like, that's great, but I don't know if I can go up on my own. Would you take me up with you? And then you say, yeah, I can take you up to the top of Mount Everest as a group though. So like, let's take you and your family and your friends, me and maybe 10 of you, we'll take you up to the top. And that's your group coaching offer. And that's really valuable because now you're going up with them. And then you got some people that are like, Omar, I don't really like people. Like, I just like, or they want the best experience. Like, can I just have you take me up privately? And that's where yeah, sure. That's going to cost a lot more. Because if I'm taking just you up, I can't take a group up. Yep. I can't but that's an offer too. In all 3 of those scenarios, the outcome is the same. Get these people to the top of Mount Everest. The payoff is the same in those 3 offers. But they're 3 very different offers because of the format and the proximity and the intimacy. And so you're not having to like come up with something special or unique. It's just people want to pay at different levels. They want different experiences. And it's the same with an in-person event or an online group coaching program or a YouTube video. In a lot of ways, you don't have to come up with something super new. They just get to experience and invest in you in different ways.
So good. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to insinuate something for people that are afraid to go do something like that. Like I was processing having an in-person event at my studio for over a year and a half. I'm like paying the lease and I'm like, man, I would love to have a thing one day. And then it was like, let's just do it. And we got in the room. It's almost like I couldn't even get to the content I prepped because it was like Q&A time. And it was like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, let's just, if you want to just stick with this, guys, we can just keep going down this path. And I think what people don't realize is it's a lot easier than you think if you're good at what you do to serve people in whichever way you'd like to serve them.
Yes.
And that's why I genuinely, people will ask about, hey, how do you know what to share, when to share it? Mm-hmm. Like in this context of like, we could say, how do you know when to gatekeep per se?
Yes, that's the question.
Right?
Like, what do I keep behind the paywall?
Yeah. So the reality is I actually leverage the person and where they are in their season to not gatekeep. Let me break that down.
Yep.
I just told you or asked you to share a $375,000 insight that you got from Myron on a free podcast that people are listening to, watching, one directional, unless you comment and I'll comment back, whatever. What you choose to do with that is what you choose to do with that.
Yep.
Now, when you know the power or the value of information and what you could do with it, then everything could change. So I actually leverage that psychology.
Love that.
Because the person depends, the person who's consuming determines the value.
Yes.
Not the person giving it. So I have a joke with my barber. He's like, bro, people paying you $25,000 to make their camera blurry. It's like in his mind, that's what
crazy.
he's, thinking. But like, and people in the group, people are like, literally, I just got a text from Jamil, bro, by the way. He's like $100,000 months, just back to back. So like a barber friend, would you like to have $100,000 a month? But you have to change from the information and how you receive. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but like consumed a piece of content, whether it was a book, a course, or a YouTube video, a second time.
Oh yeah.
And then you got different insight the second time.
Yeah.
What was the variable that changed?
You. Yeah.
So this is why it's important to be on a growth journey, and also to free yourself from the imposter syndrome. Maybe it's like whatever you actually think is like so valuable, let them determine that. And like, dude, if I make millionaires off this podcast and they never give me $1, it's why I'm a millionaire.
Oh my gosh, right? Like that's Proverbs 11, right? Like one withholds what he should give and only suffers want. One who gives freely becomes all the richer, right? Like if you refresh others, yourself will be refreshed. Like this is the difference between scarcity thinking and abundance thinking. This is the difference between being in the kingdom of God and being in the world, which is like when you're afraid that there's a finite amount of resources or like your information. This is why we're not in the information business, right? Like we're not selling the information. We're giving transformation, and the information is a vehicle. And so I've always felt like give your information away for free in abundance and let people run with it and never take credit, give you credit for it or pay you for it. And this was back in like 2010. I had people, bro, I was in a mastermind. This is so funny. I forgot about this. I was in a peer group mastermind. We just got together, a few of us that were early digital entrepreneurs. We'd all read like the 4-Hour Work Week, and we're like, we're going to do this thing. And I was putting out a video. I did this series for a month. I was like, I'm going to put out a 5-minute video every day for 31 days and just see if it grows my YouTube channel. I was like, I can't keep up with that because I generally do like one video a week. But I was like, I'm going to do it for a month and it'll be a theme and see if it helps people. And I just finished that. And by the way, did it like doubled my views, and because it became like almost like an event on YouTube. But these people in this group said, Graham, they felt bad for me. They were like, bro, on one of our calls, you were giving too much information away. Like that whole month thing, you could bundle that up and sell it, put it behind the paywall. And they felt bad for me. You could see that like, oh, Graham, you're so stupid. And I said, I don't think you get it. I was like, I don't know for sure, but I'm almost 90% positive that this will grow my brand and more people will see me and buy whatever I'm selling later because of it. And those guys have been out of business for 15 years. I haven't seen any of their stuff, but I'm still in business 16 years later because I put everything out there. I don't gatekeep because because that's not the transformation, right? It's just it's the information. And so to your point, I'm not afraid to give away stuff or it devalue my coaching because I know that being in the room is valuable. And then to your point, answering people's unique questions is valuable.
From where they at
from
in that
where
moment
they are.
when they ask it.
Absolutely. And I would rather someone watch a video and it served them, maybe read one of my books and it served them. And then when they're in a place where they're like, I need a guide, I really need a mentor to help me with this specific thing, then hire me. I mean, just like we both have worked with Myron. Like I came to Myron in a stage where, bro, I've made tens of millions of dollars online. I don't need Myron to help me start a business, but it's like, I'm at a place where I want to ask you a very nuanced question, and I know I will implement it to the max and get a return off of it. But even if I didn't see an immediate financial return, it would give me a lot of clarity, and clarity is valuable to me because in some way it's going to come out 100. In revenue. So that's the beauty of never be afraid to give away your best stuff. In fact, you're going to attract more people because that's what Proverbs 11 says. Like generosity brings wealth and riches and abundance because it's multiplicative. But it also takes that pressure off of you. Yeah. So then you can and then once you take the pressure off, you can just be yourself. And then, wow, that's going to be attractive online. Hey. And that's when people see like, I love this guy or I love this girl. Like she's just free with her stuff. Yeah, no, it's so good because we can't control the context that's consuming the content. Yep. And I figured this out when I was creating content for Think because I was making very hands-on tutorial-based videos, like put the light right here. Yep. But even with the amount of tutorial or like the amount of B-roll or demonstration that was involved in this how-to video, somebody's trying to make this happen in a bathroom and this light won't fit. Now there's no way for me to know that, right. But I can't control that. And so I found that like the free content
created more questions. People
So
DM me,
good.
hey, I tried this thing. It doesn't really quite look the same as, so that's when I really like, it started to click for me. I was like, oh snap, this is why it's a superpower to be able to freely create from inspiration when you feel it go. And also they might not be watching it in order, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Rory Vaden says, sometimes people don't pay for information, but they will pay for organization.
Yep.
So
And curation.
And
Yep.
curation. Yeah.
Yep.
And so just by you determining what the best, path is, that could be very helpful. But anyway, look, you can't sell anything worth anything if you don't know how to sell. And something I found is like a lot of times creators and creatives, and I consider myself one, we're not the most business savvy type people. And because we're so close to our art.
Yeah.
And I'm actually physically really close to art.mp4. But we're so close to our art form and our passion and we put our heart and soul into something. Like, how did you learn how to get good at sales and persuasion?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing journey for sure because I sucked at it. But to me, I always felt like I needed to be excited about the thing I was selling. So so my first job out of college actually was sales, and I was awful at it. It was selling radio advertising for a clear channel radio station in Harrisonburg, Virginia, country KCY and 98 Rock. It was the worst job ever. And people were crushing at this job. No college degree, they were crushing. I couldn't sell it because I didn't believe in it. I'd walk around to these like local businesses and be like, you should do radio advertising. But I was like, who listens to the radio? And this was back in 2005, bro. Like, this is how old I'm getting. I was like, even back then, I was like, who's really listening to the ads on the radio? So I couldn't sell it because I didn't believe in it. So if it's your own business though, once I started my own business and I was teaching people recording music and now I teach people business, people need to know this stuff. So to sell it to me is just to, again, would you like, I know you need this. Like, this is amazing. So I would talk about how awesome it's going to be when you figure this out, which this is the power of, the payoff. Like, you talk about the 4 P's in an offer. You've got the pieces of the offer. Here's what you get. You get 1 million videos and workbooks that I designed in Canva and they look so good. And you get calls with me. Here's the process. Here's the steps we go through. The person, here's how credible I am. This is why you should listen to me. I've got a coaching certificate, or I've been on YouTube forever. Nobody cares about those 3 things that much. You talk about them for like 5% of the time, but 95% of the time you talk about the payoff. Like, here's what life's going to look like for you when you get this, right? Here's the outcome you're going to get. For me, that was very natural to be like, dude, once you figure out how to use EQ or compression, or once you learn how to record, or once you figure out the business model of YouTube plus content plus offers, this is what your life's going to look like. Like, literally, when I'm telling people to get into my coaching programs, I'm like, imagine, here's what you're going to be able to do. Make $100K a month working 20 hours a week or less. How awesome will that be? Like, because that's I've done that multiple times. And I do more than that. I work like 5 hours a week. Like, that, who cares what the format is? Who cares if you get calls? Who cares if it's a magic pill? Like, it's easy for me to sell it. And I'm not a great salesperson because I just talk about how awesome their life's going to be because I've lived it.
Yep.
So I can't sell something I've never experienced. I can't take someone somewhere that I've never been. So I've only ever sold something I know I've done before or I do for people, and something I've experienced because I'm really passionate about it. And I think once you get over the hump of like selling isn't salesy or scammy, it's service, because it's actually to hate people to not sell them the thing that's going to bless them and give them the result, right? Once you get over that, you realize that shift, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody should buy this thing. Not everybody will afford it or feel like it's the right time. That's okay, but everybody should get in this program. Then sales becomes a little bit easier and you just focus on that payoff.
So good. Yeah, I mean, I think the first while, and I think it's good to know that one thing you said was, I'm still on the journey. Like, it is a never ending journey because humans are evolving. So as humans evolve, we must evolve. And it's a constant, journey. I think the other thing that comes to mind is like, the belief, confidence, just buy into whatever you're selling. And I find that a lot of newer people they're a little more shy.
Sure.
And partially so is maybe they haven't gotten the result consistently. Maybe they don't believe in so much. They probably believe in what they've created, but they don't maybe have confidence in the payoff.
Yep.
I don't know. Can you speak to that? Because
that's
real.
so important. So I tell people when you're starting out, you want to have, you want to get that first story for a client. Like, so even if you have to do it at a discount, I don't love doing coaching for free. Cause again, people who don't pay attention. But if you could just create one offer, sell it to one person, even if that person's a friend. I just had a gal on one of my challenges. She's a vocal coach. So she helps singers sing better. And she was going to sell all of her knowledge in a $100 a month membership. She decided after the challenge to put it into a $40,000 offer one-on-one. And she sold it to her best friend, and her friend bought it. Dang. Like sometimes your best friends are your first class customers because they're actually the perfect fit for it. And just because they're a friend doesn't mean they shouldn't buy something from you. So anyway, she sold it to a friend, which is wild. But maybe it's a friend. So you make one offer for one person that gives them one result, and then help them get that result. And once they get that result, they're going to give you a testimonial, and then you have a story to tell. And when you have that one story to tell, that will give you the confidence for the next 100 stories. So for example, one of my clients, this wasn't my first, but a story that I love is one of my clients, Hope. She was a senior photographer. So she would take photos for high school seniors, and she became really good at it really young, and then built a great business. And so other people like, I want to have a senior photography business like you. So she was teaching that in courses, and she was like, I need to get away from low ticket courses. I want to have a high ticket mastermind. She came to Tampa to do a VIP day with actually a couple of her friends. They came, I coached all three of them at the same time. So I'm bouncing around the room. And I only got about 1 hour with Hope to talk about the one thing that she really wanted, which was this high ticket offer thing. So I helped her craft a high ticket mastermind, price it, and like how to potentially sell it to her people. So she went and ran that play. This was like 8 years ago. She ran that play, filled this up 3 times in the next 18 months, did $500,000. So when I tell the story of like 1 hour with me, with one idea, she did $500,000 with it. It's because she did it. She's smart, but that makes me really confident selling any kind of coaching with me for whatever price.
Yeah, you're like, I got the short end of the stick.
Right. Exactly.
Which is a great energy. And because
absolutely.
It's like, guys, yeah, it's good. That's good.
Right. So even if you're not in the money making space, get that result for somebody, whether it's like they got their amazing looking video on their iPhone, they didn't know how to do it. Like when you tell someone else's story, now you're not talking about yourself. And I think a lot of creatives don't want to talk about themselves. I think they're beautiful people that have a humble spirit. They want to talk, they want to just create art. So to talk about buy this from me feels like putting awkward, attention on themselves. That's why you get the one result for somebody. So you have that one story and you tell that story over and over and over again. So then you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about, hey, you remind me a lot of so-and-so who had the same problem. I got them this result. Now they're doing X, Y, and Z, and this is what their life looks like. And that you just showed them their transformation and takes the pressure off of you. It's not weird sales conversation. It's just telling a story about a cool person that got a cool result. And that makes it a way more easy conversation to have. And that's actually way more powerful of a sales technique, because now when you tell a transformation story, someone can see themselves in it.
Right.
And that's human nature. We love to see ourselves in someone else's story. That's way better than buy my thing at this price and you'll get X, Y, and Z. And here's the payment plan. And that doesn't sell as much as so-and-so was here. They worked with me and they got to hear. Would you like that same experience?
So good. Yeah, it's good. I know what's happening in people's minds, and it's what happened in my mind. It's like, shoot, man, I've been helping people for free this whole time, and I have not been consolidating text messages, stories. And I think this, if people, and I'm glad that you're listening or watching, because you're catching it now. Like we're telling you right now that the one story, the one testimonial, the one transformation can be leveraged to get your next 100. And if you become really good at documenting the results you're getting your clients in any way, shape, or form, it's even like if you are a photographer, the text message like, oh my gosh, these are making me cry looking at these photos. Screenshot that thing, Done. Post it on stories. Hey, I got a couple spots next week if you want to book for fall photos. Like
that's it.
Isn't
that powerful? And you don't have to do any selling. Because stories sell. So it could be your story of transformation.
Yeah, which I think is for a season might be.
Yep. But once you get a client a result, and you should charge something, even if it's $5, so that you can say they were a paying client.
Yep.
But also psychologically, you're like, they paid me, I'm serving them. But tell people stories. And again, you don't need a million testimonials. kind of try to capture maybe 3 to 5, because then that way you have them in your sort of Rolodex in your mind of, oh, this is a similar story that's to yours. Let me tell you about so-and-so. Like I have a client who the story for him wasn't that he made more money, is that he automated 80% of his business. So he's working only 1 day a week making the same amount of money, and he gets to hang out with his kids. So for someone that's like, I don't want to make a lot more money, and maybe that's not true. Maybe it's the story they tell themselves, but if that's the win for them, they just want to be able to take their kids to school, have a date day with their wife. Like I do every Friday with my wife is date day. I don't work on Fridays.
Dang, dude, you don't even do date nights.
No, we do date days, bro.
Bro, I got the conviction.
Yes, sir. It's fun. Right now. So if someone like, I can tell that resonates with them, I'm like, let me tell you about so-and-so, where he was already making $300K a year. We did some stuff together. He automated 80% of his business. Now he only works on Mondays, making the same $300K a year. And like, that might be more meaningful of a story to them. Oh, great. Can I have that experience? Yes.
So good, man. So yeah, you I guess you can call us all, if you wanted to label us, or if you're trying to become one, we are what you would call digital marketers, right? The space we're in is digital marketing, where we use our personalities, or maybe, you know, the information we share to let people know about things that can help their thing. Since you've been in the game for over a decade, and obviously, yeah, you mentioned AI and the algorithms are changing. I think very few people have a pulse on where things are headed when it comes to YouTube, social media, and things like that. Can you just share kind of what you see everywhere is going, and what should people be doing right now?
100%. Long form video content. To get on the camera more and talk more, because answers are more readily available than ever before, right? So AI makes answers easier to get. The how-to is easier to get. I mean, I cut my teeth on tutorials, very much like you. Like when you're in the cameras, like put the camera here, do this. Like it is so hard for me. It has been so hard for me to move away from just show people the how-to, because I always thought that was where the value was. But how-to is less, it's not that it's less important, it's just easier to get at answers. Yeah. So I would say moving forward, like you have to authentically show up on a platform regularly so people get to know you, the person, and your hot takes, your polarizing views, your contrarian points of view. And then I think position yourself as a mentor. Like, so maybe if you do YouTube or do social media, view it as a mentorship platform. And the difference might sound nuanced or like a semantics, but I'm not teaching necessarily as much as I'm mentoring and guiding people. So pretend you're the Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Yoda, or your, who is it from Harry Potter? Dumbledore. Like you're not the hero. It's very Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand, which is a great book, by the way. Like the person watching your content is the hero. You're the guide, and you'll make a lot of money positioning yourself as the guide. So don't be the hero online. Like I have all the answers, or I even have to stay up on top of all the trends and have all the answers. You can do trend content. Here's what's happening, but do it from the position of helping the hero, which is the person watching or listening, and guiding them to where they want to go, and be a mentor. So it's like, hey, there's mindset, there's challenges, there's all that kind of stuff. Like you become indispensable the moment you really are presenting yourself as having wisdom.
Wow.
Like we know in the book of Proverbs, like wisdom is the thing you should get more than anything. And people don't know they need wisdom, but wisdom is so valuable. And so if you can position yourself as a mentor, you stand out from AI, because AI will get the answers faster than you will. But people are going to now want, I think, people are going to want a person to be in their corner, to cheer them on, to listen to them, to answer their nuanced question. And this is like next level, is like, so imagine somebody wants to learn how to grow a business. AI can give them a bunch of answers. And there's a lot of content people tell them how to do that. But AI doesn't have the business growth answers from a husband who's still married to his wife, a father, a kingdom person, or whatever. If that matters to you, they might really like Omar's content because, he cares for his wife, he cares for his children, the church, he cares for people. Because when I look for mentors and coaches or masterminds, I'm usually looking at their life. Is he still married to his wife? Does his adult children, do they still talk to him and like him? It doesn't always have to be a person of faith, depending on what I'm learning from them. But I look at the person behind what they can teach me.
100.
Because I don't want to spend my money or time with somebody who's, no offense, they have success in what I want to learn, but their personal life is falling apart.
Yep.
Because there's something broken there. So I think you have the opportunity to be in your sort of world that mentor, that someone, the right person will be like, I want what she has, what he has, not just what he can teach me, but the whole package, which sounds weird, like we're selling ourselves, but we're not. We're just showing up fully as ourselves. And AI, I don't think, can give that. They can give good answers, but not that like aspirational, I'm 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road from where you want to be, mentor, guide type person.
So good. Yeah, and the word I'm drawing out of mentor is leader. Like AI can't lead you. That's why we have to lead it. Something that Dan Martell said was the future belongs to directors, not doers.
So good, yeah.
And I love that's such a fresh way that you've put it. Like if you can be on YouTube as the mentor or the leader. Now, what's like the number one rule of leadership? It's self-leadership.
Yes.
Then it's self-awareness, and then it's actually influence. It's John Maxwell would say leadership is influence.
I was about to say, like, we're in the world of influencers. It's awful the way it's been branded, because those people are not good leaders 9 times out of 10.
No,
right?
for sure.
But leadership is just influence, right? So if I view what I do as influencing the generation. Like I struggle with this as a worship leader who was being groomed to be a vocational pastor. Like all my pastors back in the day were like, bro, I see communication, leadership, you should be a pastor. Which, by the way, never label somebody like you should be this just because I see some skills. Like who knows what God wants to do with it. I thought that was great until God said start a business, and I'd never thought about a business. I've had more influence in the world by being a business owner online than any of my pastor friends have planning a church. And I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying it was a different path I didn't even consider.
Right.
But I take that role very seriously, and I'm not the same as you or other people, but like in my own way, I've tried to be very clear about where I stand on certain issues and being a man of God and a man of faith, and then also serving people at a high level in the business. So everything I do is influencing people. So it is leadership. So I don't really care how many of my thing I sell or how many people follow me. I care very much about, am I following God? Am I influencing and leading my family well? Am I serving in my church? And then do I have time for my business? So that's why my business gets the least amount of my time.
Yeah.
Which is hard in a world that says you should just work harder, you should do more. Graham, you could do so much more. I know I could do so much more, but my life's great. And I'm trying to do as little as humanly possible to get the most output as possible, not because I'm lazy. I put it like this, that hustling is actually lazy in disguise. It's laziness in disguise. Anybody can hustle. It takes like no creativity, no thinking. You just do more stuff. That's like, I don't respect anybody that just hustles. It actually takes more work to stop and think, like we were talking about earlier, the 80-20. What is the 20% that really drives this business forward? And then just do that. So for me to be a good influencer, I have to really contain my work, not because it's bad, but so that I can do the other things well in my life. And that means saying no to a lot of things that I miss out on a lot.
100.
But to be a good leader and influencer online, to me, that's a part of it, so that I can keep my marriage of 20 years next month by the grace of God, to raise my kids, to all those things. So I think AI could never touch that on me, but maybe that's fine. Not everybody wants the world I live in or the way I think about it, and they can go somewhere else,
100.
which is great. But the people that do are going to be really attracted to that.
Dude, so good. I love that. And it is crazy that I've been in ministry for 13 years, and to think that there are people in the congregation that have more influence from a audience standpoint than the church they're a part of is a crazy concept. And it's been something that's been like something I've been thinking about, is like and I'm one of them, but I'm also like one of the pastors on the staff. So like it's a very unique dynamic that even I prayed for, and God's given me the grace to walk in, but I'm also trying to unpack what does it look like and not show favoritism. It's not favoritism. I think it's just it's shepherding, it's stewardship, it's understanding that there are certain people that have certain gifts to offer, and have in many cases people don't have the time. I used to at one point really believe like everyone should hold a sign, everyone should hold a baby, everyone should.
Yeah.
And the reality is some people that's very legalistic of me to even just say everyone should do anything.
Right. And
so and by the way, I define legalism as projecting your conviction on other people to do.
Yeah.
And if I'm convicted about something, that's for me,
Sure.
you know? And so all that to say, just what do people like me need? And if there's anything that I personally need, is I need a shepherd. Like literally, like I'm aware that I have this influence. I'm aware that the finances go crazy. And of course my heart is to fund the kingdom and the local church. But like I need a shepherd, you know, and I think that's what it might be. And I know that sounds like very basic and foundational. But when I say that, I mean like I need a relationship for someone to speak into my life for areas I might have blind spots in, for areas that
we all do.
Right.
100% at every stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a very interesting dynamic. I mean, with what you're doing at your church, serving on the worship, which is, dude, by the way, he had his daughter like lead worship with him a couple weeks ago for the first time. Like you guys led worship together?
Yeah, we did like a big one-day conference at our church. And so I was leading worship and she was in the choir. And so we got to both go to rehearsal and be on the stage at the same time. It was wild.
Dude, that is, as a dad who's raising their kids in the church, like that warms my heart, you know? That's awesome, and it's good to know it's more than just good people. Like you are a man of God. My pastor, Pastor Jabin, says men and women of God are people that acknowledge that God has chosen them, but they become men and women of God when they choose God back.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for choosing God back.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah. Likewise. Praise God.
Where can people find you? What do you have going on?
Yeah, grahamcochrane.com or at the Graham Cochrane on Instagram or YouTube. The newest thing is I just wrote my next book number 3 called The Effortless Business. It'll be coming out soon. So that to me is the heartbeat of like, how can you build a high profit, low maintenance business that has a lot of impact in the world? So I'm really excited about that.
We'll link it up. And dude, I appreciate you.
Dude, thanks for having me on, man. This is great.
Cool. Gang, gang.